So it's just me and me and me. Yep. I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and let's just get started. I'll go ahead and we will put. We're going to go ahead and talk about my most recent video. It's the Jeep Regear video. As most of you know, I went with 513 gears on my Jeep Gladiator, the Jack Monkey, and I absolutely love it. I have no regrets. Although the thumbnail and the title may have led you to believe there might have been, there's none. I put 513 gears. I'm running a 2-inch lift, the Mopar lift, and I have a 35-inch tires. I have 35-inch tires, 2-inch lift. I have a front bumper with a winch. I have a rear bed rack cage, my rooftop tent, a new awning. Working the video for that right now, and we'll have all that up. So I'm running a little extra weight. I put 513 gears on it. I get back to the stock shift points. I don't really save much gas mileage on the interstate. I don't save gas mileage on the stop and go traffic, but when I'm on the 55-mile-an-hour 2-lane highways, I get pretty decent gas mileage. If I was in a flat area, I would have much better gas mileage. So let's go ahead and start the video, and I'll make comments as we go along here. And if there's people joining, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll stop, I'll read it, and we'll go ahead and yeah, we'll start the video. So that's what we're here for. Been wondering, there's a lot of traffic on the internet and on YouTube right now about regearing your Jeep. What's the right size? What's the right tire size? What do I need to do? How much weight am I running? All these things are factors that you need to consider. So today I'm actually going to put 513s in this. 513s. Why should I put 513s? I am planning on going with 37s at some point, especially probably when I get to the next tire change. I'll probably step up to 30. And that was what I was told. I was told through 513 gears is really good for, felt like a cat was going to fall through the ceiling. 513 gears is really good for 37s. That puts it in the stock range, gives you a little bit more power, everything. So I am about 30,000 miles onto my 35s. I bought them brand new Nitto mud trail grappler mud terrains. So probably got about 40,000 miles to go, but I am looking for a used set of 37s I could just buy for a couple $100, put on and just test it out. And then we'll see if it's worth getting rid of the 35s and just going straight to 37s. So 37s, and we'll see, and I'll be in the right range. The shop that I'm going to is Jeep Kings down in Stratford, Missouri, which is just northeast of Springfield, Missouri, which is about an hour away. And I'm gonna drop the Jeep off. And on the way, I will show you the gas mileage that I'm getting along the I-44 corridor from Wayne. So this is an Onyx off-road screenshot. I had to draw this route on I-44. If you use Onyx off-road, you know that it doesn't really, you can't just pick a two cities and then say navigate to. It's going to kind of go however it goes. It's not Google Maps. So you have to kind of draw your route if you want to stay on the interstate. So generally that's what this is. I don't know if you can really see it. And I'm not sure how I can zoom in to show you, but the elevation just does not change very much. Although it is rather hilly, but it generally looks flat. Now I'll show this screenshot again, and we can you can look at it. But there in the bottom, you see that there's the side view of the terrain that shows kind of like what's going on and where I'm at elevation wise. And that's really what I wanted to highlight. But it doesn't show that that this part of Missouri is real hilly along the I-44 corridor. And it's hard to stay in 8th gear on the interstate, and it's hard to maintain a speed. And if you stay in 8th gear, you're going to drop speed. You're going to fluctuate, which I will show you after I get the regear done. I do a section where I will talk about how I fluctuate and feather the gas pedal to stay in 8th gear up and down those hills. And then I turn on the cruise control and set it at 70, and you'll see how I get. So when you're going up a hill at 70, you just kind of lose momentum. So St. Robert down to Springfield. So you're going to want to stay tuned to show you that. Right now, pulling in, we're going to get some coffee. I'm heading down to Springfield to drop off the Jeep. And I wanted to show you a little bit about the terrain that I'm driving on and what that does to my gas mileage around. So if you may be wondering why I went with like black and white, and at the very beginning I was color, the Jeep was black and white, and then we flipped. I went to black and white and the Jeep was color. I just upgraded my video editing software to Final Cut Pro, and I'm just testing it out, and I like it a lot. It's a learning curve, definitely, from CapCut, but I think it is a little bit more of a professional software. I'm not quite there yet. Like I said, I've been doing this for about a year now. Got 70 videos on the channel, and yeah, I'm just to the point where I think I can start learning. So this is kind of what I'm dealing with. So lots of hills, lots of undulating terrain, uneven terrain, not very flat, as you can see. Kind of up here, we're just on the west side of Waynesville, Missouri, and we are right now we're flat, which is not bad. But even with this flat, I'm not even in 7th, and now I'm in 8th gear. I'm getting 19 currently, and I'm averaging 15.9. Now I just slow rolled it through a parade, so my average has dropped down, but you can see currently what I'm getting, doing 65 on a 70, and I can feel this thing bogging down because I'm trying not to let it drop out of 8th gear. So all right, so we're back. I just filled the gas tank. We're right in Springfield. I got to go a little bit past it. So generally flat now. As you can see, the gas mileage running right around 15. That's going to keep increasing because you see the current is 21, and I'm running at 66 miles an hour. I think it's important to note 66 miles an hour, that part of Springfield, the speed limit's right around 65. So as you maintain that 5 mile an hour buffer, which is what I would suggest if you're driving, especially if you're driving a Jeep, you no need to go 80 because you'll just get terrible gas mileage. But if you just stay around the speed limit, especially in Springfield where it is generally flatter, you can get decent gas mileage. And this regear really helps. Just below 2,000 RPMs, coming under 65. Like I said, we're just north of Springfield on 44. I got to go a little bit past it before I drop the Jeep off. But now that we're going uphill, we're looking at 15 miles per gallon, 7th gear, 14. And then we got some traffic, so I'm gonna have to slow down. Speed limit's only 60 plus 70 back there. Go ahead and slow that down a little bit. 64. Yeah. So on the average, like I said, the average is going to keep increasing because I just reset the computer and everything. So I've got no worries that this thing could get up into the 16s. But you can see like the difference in the terrain. Like if I'm on this normal flat stuff, like I get no problem getting 15, 16 miles to the gallon. But I'm hoping with the regear I can get closer to stock, which is claimed to be in the 20s. I doubt I'll get close to 20. Yeah, I'm fooling myself if I thought I was going to get close to 20. That is what the sticker says when you buy the Jeep brand new, but there's no way. No way. I mean, I can hit on my little gauge, I can hit 20 miles to the gallon every now and then, but I don't have enough to average 20 miles per gallon. So the best I'm getting right now is high 16s, which is good, which is much better. But again, sometimes it's the gas. Sometimes places I go, like I just don't get. I don't know if it's the way I drive that tank of gas, but I don't know. It just doesn't work out. But it's totally worth it. I think it's it makes the Jeep feel more peppy. It makes the Jeep feel faster, makes it feel more power. And I'm about to make a 10-hour drive with my trailer, so I may film some shorts and show you all what that does while we're doing that. So miles a gallon, but I mean, I'll take 17, I'll take 18. That's great. We'll come back and we'll check this a little bit later. All right, guys, so I apologize. I didn't get a chance to get any video of me dropping off the Jeep, talking to Dave, the owner of Jeep Kings, or picking up the Jeep, or any of the install. So I wanted to just take an opportunity and just talk to you about the gears and then kind of show you where those are going in just a second. So the gearing that Jeep Kings goes with is Spicer gears. This scene in this culture for a while, you know that Spicer and Dana work hand in hand to make sure that their products work well together. Dana 44s are the stock axles that come in a Rubicon version of any Jeep, and I got Spicer gears. So they are specifically manufactured here in the United States of high-grade steel. They're precision machined and heat treated specifically for the Dana 44 through 60 axles on the Jeeps, OEM spec. They're supposedly much easier to install, they're quieter, and there's less likely of a chance that they're going to fail. Now, yeah, so I'm going to pause it there real quick and just talk. So Dana makes the axle and Spicer makes the gear for Dana axles. So when you upgrade your gear, it was told to me, and maybe it was sold to me, but I did my research. It seemed to check out. Only time will tell if I made the right decision. But other gear companies, the gears are made in China. They're manufactured there. They're not quite the same quality steel that Spicer gear uses for American made. And they come with this protective coating because they have to ship across seas. High moisture content could cause it to rust. So that's where the break-in comes in. So if you get any other type of gear, especially ones made in China, they've got this coating and you got to go through that 500-mile break-in, they call it. But really, you're just wearing out. You're just heat up, cool down the gears so that the coating can come off of the gear. And as it comes off, it contaminates your gear oil. So then at 500 miles, they make the suggestion. Spicer gears don't have that. Spicer gears are made with heat treated quality steel. They're literally made the same time the axles are made. So, they fit well. They're quieter. I've had no issue with the gears being noisy or anything. Now I've only had it for a couple thousand miles now at this point. And I don't know. I'm not a gearhead or anything like that. I can't do this job by myself. I wouldn't even want to try it. But it seems to be correct. Like there is no break-in required, no nothing. So whether it was told to me or sold to me is neither here nor there. I trust Dave and what he says. It seems good so far. I was looking at their website, and I'll show the data somewhere here on the screen, but they ran a cycle test with high load and low load, comparing Spicer gears with 4 other manufacturers. And Spicer gears under high load, you can see here, they lasted 125,000 cycles, and under low load, they lasted almost 428. So yeah, here, this is a chart, comes right off their website. So what they did was I don't know the difference between high load and low load. I can only imagine four-wheel drive vehicles weighted down, but it's on a dyno. Low load is just everyday driving. So that's your rear gears altogether. So they'd start it up, they'd run it to a speed. There's no data on like exactly the parameters of the test, but the gears were able to be start and stopped on the dyno over 420 some thousand times before they failed. They catastrophically failed. And under high load, they were able to start and stop 121,000 times before they catastrophically failed. So, you know, these tests, they typically are a little bit overkill. So high load probably means a really high load. And I don't know the competitors that they tested them against, but you know, when it comes to four-wheel drive parts and everything, Dana is a well-known name, and Spicer gears that go with the Dana axles, it makes sense to me. 1,000 cycles. Now, what that means is they were able to start it and stop it on a dyno under low load and high load before the gearing fractured and it failed. And thanks you guys for joining me. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. 3 times as much as any other manufacturer, and it's simply because they are OEM spec'd and they're made here in America, and they're specifically made with Dana axles in mind. They partner together and they work well. They're very compatible together. So let's get under the Jeep and let's see where these things go. Yeah, so here I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to film any of the installation. I dropped it off late. I picked it up late. I didn't even get a chance to go in and really film the interaction with Dave because it was so close to closing time when I got there. But I did want to get under the Jeep and show you like where it went. And you can see there in the video that differential cover has been taken off and cleaned thoroughly. It looks brand new almost. And you can see how much I do underbody spray downs and care, because my tire in the video, my spare tire there is just that is original dirt. So all right, so this is the rear diff cover. I'm telling you guys stuff that you already know, but this is where the ring and pinion, the 513 gears went in. They had to pull the axle apart, punch out the gears, put the gears in, measure them, mark them, run them a couple cycles. I don't know the whole process, but if you've seen any of the process or you've done this before, then you know what happens. The same thing happened in the front. So I've put 513s in the front and the rear, and I gotta say, I regret not doing it earlier. So now that we've seen, so that little thing right there, I meant to, that little, that was me pre-planning the thumbnail, and the title of the video was going to have something with regret. I kind of name dropped it right there. So I was going to show a picture of the thumbnail to the left of the screen there. And I was hoping for a better effect. I didn't end up using regret in my title or thumbnail. So, you know, it's just a quirky part of the video that I left in. Where the gears go, and talked a little bit about the gears. Why don't we get in the Jeep, take it down the road, and I'll show you some numbers. Follow me. All right, guys. Hey. So here I'm filming with my GoPro. I've got a mic that's forward facing. So I apologize about the audio. Whenever I turn the camera to look at my dashboard, the audio is captured from me speaking and bouncing off the window. It sounds funky. So I just apologize about the audio. That's why it is the way it is. So I just got to filming this video, although I've had the Jeep for about a week and a half now since getting the gears redone. And I gotta be honest, it's amazing. And if it looks different, it's because it is. I filmed the beginning, I filmed the end, and then that middle section where I was showing you the data and where the gears go, I filmed that, you know, last. That was a couple weeks after this. So like I filmed it, inserted it into the middle, so it looks like I went from beginning, middle, end, but I didn't film it in that sequence. So that's just a little inside baseball for you. It really did make a huge difference. It put it back into the stock shift points, and I'll show you in just a minute, but like I can run on the interstate where I'm at now and be in 8th gear the whole way, even with hills. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean I maintain speed or a great gas mileage, but I get much better. And so here, I just wanted to show you real quick. We're going up a hill right now, and we just crested the top of the hill. We're currently running 66 miles an hour, speed limit is 70. We're in 8th gear, and my current gas mileage is 18. Now we just started going down the hill, and you can see my average there. So we're running about 70 miles an hour, getting 22 miles to the gallon. It's pretty flat right now, and we're in 8th gear. That's the important piece. So you can see how flat it is, and I haven't really lost anything. I'm still at 69. I'm doing 17 miles to the gallon, averaging 15.4, and that just jumped up a little bit, but that's just a testament. This thing feels so much different. It feels so much peppier. It has a lot more acceleration, and I got to be honest, when I'm at a stop and I put the Jeep in drive, it just goes. I don't even have to give it gas. It just goes. I'm running 35-inch tires, a 2-inch lift, and I've got 513 gears. I went with 513 gears because I do plan on going to 37s, and I do tow from time to time with this. So if I stay with 35s, my RPMs are going to stay a little bit higher than normal, and that's pretty much the case. That's pretty much the case at 80 miles an hour and above. My RPMs get close to 3,000, but I don't usually run 80. So right now, no, I don't ever run 80 in my Jeep. Even in Texas, I run a little bit lower than 80. It just, the thing feels like it's going to take off. It doesn't feel like it's stuck to the road. I just don't really like the way it feels when I run 80. So no need for me to do that. When I do that now with the 513 gears, I think I show it here. The RPMs are higher because I am running 35-inch tires right now with the 513s. So the gear ratio is a little off. It causes the RPMs to go higher the faster I go, because I don't have the larger tire to kind of equal out the RPMs inside the gearbox. So it is it affects the gas mileage a little bit, right? Like, but again, I don't buy this for gas mileage, but I do want to make it clear I try to get the best gas mileage I can while I'm driving it. But I know 100% that it's not going to be a hybrid ever. I'm not going to get that kind of gas mileage and savings at the pump, and that's fine. I just want to get the best I can. So, and I didn't buy it to drive it fast either. I'd rather people see me than hear me or, you know, have a blur blow past them. So right now it does perfectly fine. I just wanted to highlight this. We're going up a hill. I don't know if you can really tell. It's not a very big hill, but 8th gear, RPMs right around 2400, 8th gear, 15 miles to the gallon, and I'm just dropping off slightly with my speed. It's not too bad. And this is it's not the biggest hill I've ever driven up on the interstate, but it's a significant hill. And I'm about 2/3 of the way up it. So let me clarify significant hill. It's just long. It gets a little steeper towards the end. You'll see that the gearing, it downshifts, but for the most part, I stay in 8th gear the majority of this hill. But these hills around here, they may change 100 feet of elevation, but they change over the course of like 3/4 of a mile. So that's not a huge slope, but it is a long, treacherous, not treacherous, but it is a long gas mileage killer because it is just on that constant slope up. And I'm still in 8th gear. Still going, still in 8th gear. It may bump right around here. It's probably going to bump. I'm at 64 miles an hour. Didn't lose too much speed, but now I'm starting to lose some speed. I'm going to give it just a little bit of gas,
and I'm probably going to downshift. Yep, there you go. So I've downshifted.
There it goes.
You see my gas mileage goes down when I downshift to maintain that speed. Probably running about 2,800 RPMs. We're just cresting the top of the hill. RPMs. Let off a little bit as we crest the top of the hill. And there it shifts back down to 8th. And my gas mileage starts to raise back up over 16 miles to the gallon. So this thing feels quite amazing in how it goes. I'm extremely happy with the purchase. I'll have to test it out and see what it does when it's towing, but I can only imagine that it'll do perfectly fine while I'm towing.
Yeah, towing I haven't done yet, but like I said, I'm about to take a trip and go back east and tow my hiker trailer, which doesn't weigh a lot, and I've taken the rooftop tent off and put it back on the Jeep. So we'll see how that does. I can only imagine that I'm not even concerned about the gas mileage. I'm concerned about the ability to stay in 8th gear and just have the Jeep feel like it's not so bogged down and I'm driving a dud of a vehicle. That's the one thing I don't like. A V6 has plenty of power. It's not the 392, I know that, but it does have plenty of power, and I just want to maximize its potential at every turn.
So, but I'm going to go ahead now and turn on the cruise control, and we'll see what that does. Dropped off a little bit, so we'll set it at, actually, let's just set it at the speed limit and see what it does.
Thanks you guys for joining too. So
we're at 70 miles an hour.
Put them up in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer them.
Okay, you can see, gonna kind of come up a hill and drop off a little bit. Here we are. Cruise control is set at 70, doing 70. We're in 7th gear just because we're going up a hill. Now we're going to downshift into 8th. There we go. And we're maintaining 70. We're going to start going down a hill now. And we're going to go up that other side. And we're going to film this and see what happens here.
It's really nice when you're going
down the hill.
Time.
8th gear.
Gas mileage goes up.
56 miles to the gallon. And we're maintaining 70 miles an hour. We're pretty level. We're still getting 16 miles to the gallon. 15, 16, probably angled up a little bit. Sun's right in your eyes. It's right in mine.
So
I know I don't like
I got this light.
Here you go.
Right in my eyes.
Now we're maintaining 70.
The picture.
We're dropping some gas mileage, but we're maintaining 8th gear, about 2,400 RPM. And now we're coming up the hill. Now we jump down to 7, maintaining 70. Still, you see that average doesn't fluctuate a lot whenever it drops down.
Did you see I'm in 7th gear and the RPMs are like right at 3,000, right? So that's 7th gear running 3,000. So as you like, imagine if this is flat and you're doing 80 and you're in 7th gear, like you're probably running 3,000 RPMs, which means your gas mileage is going to be at 9. So
we're cresting the top of this hill. We're going to flatten off and we're going to shift back to 8th.
Oh.
There you go. Drops the acceleration a little bit. We're going to come up this next hill and then we'll film that and see. But you can see the big advantage to regearing is getting the shift points correct. You're not really going to gain a lot of gas mileage. Okay, on average, I've probably gained since driving it for the week and a half, I've probably gained 1 more mile to the gallon. Like I'm averaging high 15s, low 16s now around the area, which is great because before I was barely averaging 15 miles to the gallon. Now I'm in the high 15s. But it's really just keeping those shift points correct. And as you can see, we're coming up this hill. We're in 7th gear. My average just dropped a little bit, but there you go. Now it's downshifting to 8th. And we're maintaining 70. We're still slightly going up a hill. You can't really tell. But once it levels off, that's when your gas mileage comes back. You see that. Now we're going down a hill. RPMs are dropping down below 2,500.
And you see kind of how it is. It's constantly up,
There you go.
up, down, up, down. It's not very
You can
long
play with
hills,
your
it's
cruise
just a
control
but
and really kind of dial this in. Normally I don't run 70, even though the speed limit's 70, I'll run about 68. And just that 2 mile an hour difference will make a difference in going up hills and the RPM and the gas mileage and everything. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you're thinking about re-gearing your Jeep, you know, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about going with. Like I said, I've got 35s and I went with 513s. I do plan on going to 37s. That may affect my gas mileage, but it's still going to keep my shift points generally in the right area, especially at higher speeds. So yeah, so let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you got anything left of your weekend, get out and enjoy it. And we'll see you next time on Jack Monkey Overland Adventure.
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
awesome.
And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.
So that's it. So yeah, not a whole lot to really say in addition to what was already said in the video. In this area, didn't gain a lot of gas mileage, gained a lot more power, pep, and feel. One thing I didn't highlight was, you know, taking off, putting it in drive right from the stop, taking my foot off the brake. The Jeep just goes now. Like there's no like having to give it a little bit of gas. It just goes. It'll take off. And I got to be careful because before I had gotten used to like pulling up, stopping, and then just letting off the brake and the gas, and it would just sit there. I did that the other day behind a car and let off the gas, and it coasted forward. I didn't hit anything, but it was close. So I totally think this is worth it. Is 513s worth it? If you're only going to stick with 35s, probably not, because if you're a person who does like to drive in that 75, 80, potentially 85 miles an hour zone, then maybe 488s are better for you. Maybe 456 just to kind of get a little bit back. But I went 513 knowing that my next tire size is going to be 37s, and we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm about to tow this thing, you know, back home for a couple weeks. I'm about to tow my hiker trailer behind it because it's Christmas. You don't know what you're going to get for Christmas. You might get a lot, you may get a little. And yeah, so we're going to have the room to tow all the presents for River back. But anyway, I am going to be towing something, and it's a square. It's not a teardrop. So that's going to affect things, but I really want to see how the gearing does with towing a couple 1,000 pounds on the hitch. And maybe I'll bring a video to that, or review video, and I'll let you guys know the update there. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. I highly recommend it. Somebody did ask the price tag on this. I didn't show the receipt. I think I got, there's a little bit like 24 and some change. It was $2,400. That was parts, labor, and he even like broke a bolt and had to go get some extra parts because a couple things he broke, had to pick up some things, and no issues. He had no issues getting it done. I lost the Jeep I dropped it off in the evening the night before. I lost it that whole day, and then I picked it up the third day in the evening, like right at closing time. So no issue with any of that. It was done. It was quick. He did the break-in for me. Like he said, with Spicer gears, he needed like 20, 30 miles. So he did all the install, drove it 20, 30 miles. When I picked it up, I drove it like it was just a normal Jeep. I've been driving it like it was a normal Jeep, and I've had no issues with it, knock on wood. So yeah, for those of you that have stuck through this, I know some were in and out. Appreciate you being here. If you got any questions, you can leave them in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and just hang out for a few more minutes to see if anybody's got anything, and I'm going to shut this down. So thanks for joining me tonight. We'll continue to do these things. If you like this content, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe, because that does help me out, helps the channel, and it helps generate me to other viewers. So if you haven't already, just please hit that like and subscribe. It really helps. At this point, I'm kind of begging for subscribers. But you know, hey, like I said, if you got any questions, leave them over here. I'll answer them. We'll do this again. And, you know, thanks for joining me, you know, so I'll leave it there. I'll stop talking. If you guys drop off, great. If not, I'll see you later. Thanks. All right. Nothing's coming up. We'll see you guys. Thanks for joining me.